following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
As promised. Hey, no. I want you to shut your stinking mouth. You to shut up. And you do me a favor. And you shut your stinking mouth. They're going to tell us before you get carried away who their special tag team partner is, brother. You better cool down. Now you shut up. I'll cool down when I want to, Sting. It seems to me if you was as smart as you act like you are, you wouldn't have waited this close to War Games to tell everybody who your partner is.
Well, do you want me to tell you what partner
I'm
is?
talking.
No, you
shut
shut
up when
up.
I'm talking.
What
I
talking to?
What
I
I
don't know who our secret partner is. Shut your light to him, Sting.
Come on, baby.
No, I am
Bishop,
going to let Sting tell the people who the secret partner is going to be.
All I have to say is our partner is going to shock the world because he is none other than the Shock Master! All right. The Shock Master! I told you.
Welcome, everyone, back to, depending on which one you're listening is on, the Nostalgia Funhouse or the Retroactive Sports Podcast. I'm Andrew Lenz, always joined by the great, the wonderful, the jammin' Johnny Townsend from Parts Unknown.
The co-host who you love working with because he always remembers to prepare and never fails to watch a movie he's supposed to watch today. If you could give him a hint, I don't know, a clue. Behind the scenes, Andrew is a saint, just so everybody knows. He puts up with me, and he knows that my memory is that of literally a goldfish.
Yes. I forgot to remind. But we're doing the joint episode thing again today because Johnny came up with this wonderful idea, and it's bad wrestling gimmicks, the worst wrestling gimmicks.
There's been some fun ones. There's been some awful ones. I think we're going to have a lot of those represented here today. Very excited for this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I think there's a difference between just bad, though, like a bad wrestling gimmick, and then kind of a bad fun wrestling gimmick. And I think
the same thing with bad movies, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some movies that are just really bad, and you just like there's no reason to watch them. And then there's others that are so bad that they become entertaining in that they're that bad in a way. Yeah, there is a difference.
Or you give somebody to watch a movie after you pick it, and they just don't do it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure that's happened before. and I'm sure if that ever happened, the other person meant nothing by it. They just forgot. In fact, this person probably loves Tim Curry and really was excited to watch it and just forgot about it.
And the other person probably had a wonderful fun fact that the other person would really enjoy, but now has to save it for the next recording.
I'm very excited for this.
This episode's coming out after the last one, so it's a little sneak peek into how crazy things could get here when you put two men in their 40s, trying to remember things.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty certain we've both had some sort of concussions throughout our lifetime, and that's not helping things.
Yeah. I still remember the blue light. And I'm not talking about the beer if you're from Western New York.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like when you go to Kmart and had those specials.
Oh yeah. See, that isn't that whacked that I think most people, if you go to like Western New York or Canada and you're like, hey, what's a blue light? Tell me, like, first thing that pops in your head when you say blue light, they think of the Labatt's Blue, the beer, the light beer.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't remotely think of it. I think of Kmart.
Yeah, that's great.
Definitely Kmart. Definitely Kmart.
He definitely came out. But we're doing bad wrestling gimmicks. And Johnny, this was your idea.
Yes,
And I asked you a question off air, and you said you are not going to answer it until on air.
that's right.
So, how are we choosing the winner? Are we choosing who we feel would go over in the match or who had the worst gimmick?
My brain would be who has the worst, I
Okay.
think. Like which gimmick is, for whatever definition, your own definition can be your own definition of which would be worse gimmick. I always also try to put myself in these wrestler shoes if I had been a professional wrestler, and how would I feel if I was given each gimmick? Which one would I hate worse? Probably another way I'll think about this, because we each came up with 16.
Yep.
And I'll also tell you my list that I came up with had some that I really thought were truly awful that I hated, and some that are really bad, but I just unironically have a deep love for how goofy and dumb they are.
And this is nothing against the wrestlers because as
Right.
I get older, I realize these guys need money. They got probably families or something to take care of, and they need money. So when you make it to the big time, you kind of just do whatever Vince McMahon or Dusty Rhodes or whoever comes
Or
up
Eric
with.
Bischoff, whoever
Yeah.
tells you to do. Yeah. And, and some of these wrestlers are so good that they were able to overcome these gimmicks, which is pretty impressive in a way, because some of these are not
Or
good.
had a really cool gimmick and then they got switched into something else.
Yeah.
Going on there. But here is our first matchup. We have Disco Inferno himself versus Akeem, the African Dream.
Yeah. Also, just a side note, pro wrestling has always, obviously not always for the best, really landed into stereotypes. Just know that going in for this list, quite a few of those may be represented here.
Are you talking about that jive so, bro?
Oh man, I'm talking about that time Vince McMahon thought it'd be really cool to say a certain word on air.
Oh, geez.
Okay, all right. How do you feel? I'm just really curious, just in a vacuum. How do you feel about Disco Inferno?
I love Disco Inferno because the gimmick was so bad it was good. That the fact that he could go out there in a certain sense and still kind of get over when he has a disco theme.
And he never. Here's the thing, though.
Did he win a title?
Yeah, it was never the big one.
He had like but still though, I think he was a TV title champion, wasn't he?
I think at some point, yeah. Here's the thing, though. Big time WCW guy here. That's the one I grew up watching. So I saw a lot of Disco Inferno. The best Disco Inferno, in my opinion, is when he thought he was in the NWO.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
That's when he was at his best. The problem here is if it wasn't for his theme song and him every once in a while doing the disco dance, you would not know that that's what his gimmick is.
Okay. So Disco Inferno has won 3 championships.
That's 3 more than he needed.
He has won. He was a cruiserweight champion.
That's right. Yes.
He was a tag team champion.
Okay.
And he was a two-time television champion.
Man, that's way too many for Disco Inferno.
That carries a lot of clout with me, though. I always like the television champion.
I do too, but
would you say he's the second best television champion ever, next to a good old Double A?
I can't even say that out of my allegiance to Double A. I would feel like he would deserve to smack me for putting those 2 names in the same sentence. I have a very mixed thing with Disco. I agree with you that gimmick is a fun, goofy gimmick. I just don't. I'm trying to. This is one of those separating the art from the artist guy for me, because he comes off like a real piece of work. Online and stuff, and I just remember him getting in arguments with Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. So I'm trying to separate that from this.
Yeah,
I think he went. I'm trying to decide which one of these games be worse. I don't think either one of these.
I'm just
feel great
upset
about.
that we can't use Matt as a tiebreaker again.
I know.
We can't use Matt and Will stories as tiebreakers.
Yeah.
What
are you thinking? Who do you think you're going to move on this one?
Okay, so knowing the background history a little bit more of Akeem, the African Dream, and I feel like I'm getting canceled every time I say that if you know this gimmick. He was the one-man gang. I mean, he was a wrecking crew there. He's always been that way, and then all of a sudden you take this imposing monster and you change him into this gimmick that supposedly, even though Bruce Pritchard, or if you get what I'm saying there, says that it was not trying to insult Dusty Rhodes when they made this gimmick. But I gotta say, Hakeem the African Dream is the worst gimmick. Like if you had a choice between these two,
I'm picking the disco guy. If you said, hey,
disco.
If you told me, hey, you have to pick, you only get one choice, and these are the two choices, and you have to be one of those two, I think disco's the safer one. So I'm going to agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want to be Akeem the African Dream?
I most certainly do not.
So you
I don't think Akeem wanted to be that.
This is the first tournament we've done where it's you kind of pick the loser.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yes. That's why this is fun.
Here we go. Right. Beaver Cleavage. Yeah, I did that versus Adam Bomb. So Beaver Cleavage is Johnny can't stop because he forgot about Beaver Cleavage.
First of all, fantastic name.
This is,
and if I remember right, that's in his picture, that's supposed to be like his mom, right?
Yes, and he needs mother's milk.
Yeah, and seemed like a very inappropriate relationship that you may see on certain websites nowadays.
Yes.
I bet you got stuck in a couple of dryers.
And the funny thing about this is the person playing his supposed mother, Beaver Cleave's supposed mother, was Chaz's actual like girlfriend or wife in real life. So that's a Vince Russo for you. That's a Vince Russo. Next to Adam Bomb, the man from 4 Mile Island that got caught in a nuclear explosion. Now he has nuclear powers.
I love wrestling. This matchup here is why I love wrestling.
I loved Adam Bomb.
Me too. Adam Bomb is fine by me. This has got to be
Beaver Cleavage.
Yes.
I just had to talk about Adam Bomb for like 2 seconds just because I knew what was going to happen. It was going to be Beaver Cleavage.
Yeah, and one of the names is just way more fun to say.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you're like, remember I show Angry Beavers?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Okay, so next to the next matchup, we have Oz, who actually this is funny because we have a Kevin Nash character
versus a fake Kevin Nash character.
Versus a fake Kevin Nash character. We got Oz, who I guess is the wizard from the land of Oz.
He's based on the idea was to be a character from the Wizard of Oz, is where that came from.
And it's horrible. And
it is awful.
He wears a mask to the ring, and they actually had Wizard of Oz characters, and Kevin Sullivan came out, but underneath his cape, you could see him wearing like sweatpants. It's pretty bad at like the one thing that I saw. Versus the wonderful gimmick of fake Diesel and fake Razor.
All right, so the fake Diesel and fake Razor is almost historical in a way.
Yeah.
Because that is exactly when Nash and Hall had went to WCW. And it made huge news. Right? That was a big, big deal. So to combat that, WWF decided, hey, we're going to announce on air that, hey, Diesel and Ramon are going to be here because they still had the rights to those names. So if you really look closely, not only are we going to see, do we have two Kevin Nashes here, we also have the first of, I'm sure, another appearance of a certain guy who's got to be Kane.
Does it gotta be Kane?
It's got to be Kane.
It's gotta be Kane.
Man. All right. So Kevin Nash obviously was able to overcome that gimmick.
Yeah. Was he? No. Oh, he was Vinny Vegas after this,
Yes. Yeah.
which
It's not any better.
What could have, but what could have made it? Him and the Diamond Stud.
Yes.
Uh,
But I just think the fake, Diesel and Ramon is just such a terrible idea. Just even the idea of it was so horrible, because the second the fans see that, they're going to know they're obviously A, they're not the real ones, and B, that they were just lied to.
you know they got another pay raise after this on a WCW, right? I think it was Nash or Hall were talking about it
Oh, I don't doubt it.
when they announced that Razor and Diesel were going to be on Raw. That WCW ran to him and thought they were like leaving, like they were going to try and get out of the contracts or something. And they're like, we'll just give you more money. Don't do anything. And they're like, oh, okay. And they just signed more
Yeah.
money.
And they weren't going to go anywhere, for the record. Yeah.
I gotta. I was in the beginning. I was thinking Oz, but when you think about it, this is like
The Oz one is more as a fun footnote to me, because the guy underneath it was able to overcome it, so
Yeah.
it didn't ultimately hurt his career. But it is a really bad. But it's also one of those where you're like, hey, if you want to show somebody how goofy wrestling can be, you can just show this ring attire of him walking to the ring as this character, and you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
and it was
The other one, I think, was just a bad idea in the first place.
it
Like
was
just an
early
awful.
early 90s WCW for Oz.
Yeah.
The fake Diesel and Razor, it would be like, I'm gonna be some guy that just got drafted by the Chicago Bulls and asked for number 23.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you
how
just-
I look at it.
Right. Yeah. You just don't do that. So I think the fakers go here.
The fakers. Up next, the Spirit Squad versus the Fat Chick Thriller. Mike Awesome.
All right. I hated the Spirit Squad with a passion. Did not like them. They were really annoying, which was what they were trying to do anyway. The only bright spot being Dolph Ziggler was in that group, and he kind of comes from there. And obviously, he had a great. Well, he's still going on, but he had a great career.
Yeah.
But you're putting that against Mike Awesome, who himself literally was an awesome wrestler, and it gave him this gimmick where he would go around, quote unquote, chasing fat chicks.
Yes.
I really hated both of these gimmicks. Really, really.
And this is like no disrespect or body shaming, but when I look at this, if just coming from, if you know what Mike Awesome was, like if you
Yeah.
watch what is that? The one where Mick Foley and Terry Funk had a bunch of death matches in, like,
In Japan?
yeah, what the hell was it? The martial arts one with Onita. I can't even.
Oh, I know. Oh,
So if you watch that stuff,
or
and
even his ECW stuff.
that's the other thing too. So if you watched him in ECW, and then you see this guy Mike Awesome get tagged with even that 70s guy, well, those are two horrible gimmicks for this guy. This guy was a monster. This was a monster.
He wasn't only a monster; he's a monster who could move.
Yeah.
This guy got it. He was, in my opinion, one of the first big men. I mean, well, not the first, but one of the first big men that I remember seeing, being really blown away by how active he was. And now going around the ring, and like he could pretty much do anything he wanted to do. When he first gets to WCW, they do have him being out to be like this monster who can do that. And then all of a sudden, he's like bringing giant women's underwear to the ring.
Yeah.
It's just why you would do that. And this is, look, I don't want to speak for Andrew, but I'm a hefty dude.
Yeah. The guy too, but
why would you do this?
I don't know. Like, I feel like this is worse than the Spirit Squad.
I do. I'm going to agree.
And it's just on the basis that like we talked about, we know what Mike Awesome was before this.
Yes.
It's kind of like the Akeem thing. We knew what he was before Hakeem. Well, the Hakeem is pretty bad no matter what, but that adds the, you know, the icing onto the cake to do it.
Yeah.
But I think the Mike Awesome gimmick is 100 times worse.
Yes.
Than anything else.
And more offensive. So not only Mike Awesome, but the fat chicks everywhere.
That is true. So Mike Awesome goes on. The Boogeyman versus the Repo Man.
Oh man. All right. I want to break down Boogeyman's gimmick. I'm the Boogeyman. Also, I eat worms. There. I just told you his gimmick.
You forgot about he's coming to get you.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Repo Man.
Okay, so when you found out this was Barry Darso from, you know, one of the members of Demolition, I think he was Smash.
Yeah.
Smash from Demolition, and then you find out now he's a Repo Man.
I don't think either one of these gimmicks is fun. I would never want to eat worms.
So which one would you? I would rather be the Repo Man.
I would rather be the Repo Man.
Okay. So
also, less makeup you got to put on your face.
That is true. Even though I would like the Boogeyman's physique, I don't.
Oh yeah,
Boogeyman. But
the dude was definitely in shape. But
isn't he like 60 years old, still looking like that too?
I think so. Yeah.
Like he was like ridiculously old to get into even Tough Enough. So we are in agreement. The Boogeyman moves on, and he's coming to get who's ever in the next round.
That's right. He's coming to get you.
So we got the Toxic Turtles versus Duke the Dumpster Drozy.
All right, a little backstory for the Toxic Turtles. Obviously, this is in the height of the early 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle craze. Spoiler alert, your boy Johnny, that's my all-time favorite thing ever is the Ninja Turtles. Like, there's nothing I would ever put above that.
No.
So I didn't know this existed until years and years later because this didn't originally air, right? This was when they filmed this, you actually didn't see these two guys. It was I'm blanking who they were, but they were these. But one
was Gilbert.
Yeah, yes, one's Gilbert, but they had these outfits because they would wrestle in the independent scene as these knockoff Ninja Turtle characters, and they made the mistake of letting Vince McMahon find that out. So of course, hey, let's put them in the ring.
That's some good shit, pal.
And you can't call them the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, because that's already trademarked. So let's say they're pretty toxic.
It was Barry Hardy and Dwayne Gill.
There we go. Yeah.
So
quote unquote the gimmick itself didn't last very long, but the video surfaced years and years later because like it kind of got this underground swelling of, hey, did you know that this happened?
Type of thing. This thing.
Yeah.
Versus Duke the Dumpster Drozy, who is a garbage man.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a knockoff Ninja Turtle? Oh, this is not even fair when I asked Johnny this question. Would you rather be a knockoff Ninja Turtle or would you rather be a garbage man as a wrestler?
Growing up, I obviously would run around pretending to be Raphael of the Ninja Turtles. And that was pretty knockoff. But as an adult, that just offends me to my core. I have such a deep adoration for Ninja Turtles that is just I just really, really hate it with the complete passion. I'm not saying the garbage man gimmick in wrestling is a great idea, but I am saying that to be a garbage man in real life is a really respectable thing. One of my close pals when I was growing up, he worked for the city that he lived in for a long, long time, and he drove a trash truck. And he was also in a trash truck a lot, and he was one of the best dudes I ever knew. So I have a deep respect for that profession. I would not be mad. Like if I had to choose between these two, I would much rather be a garbage man personally. I don't know about you, because the other one itself is garbage.
Yeah, because actually, I feel you could probably might get a little bit more out of the Garbage Man gimmick than, knock off Ninja Turtle.
You can start. You have a starting place with the Garbage Man. You can start adding some stuff to that. The Turtles, I don't know how far you're going to get with besides we're knockoff Ninja Turtles.
So knockoff Ninja Turtles, you are moving on.
That's right.
Toxic Turtles. Next is the right to censor.
Oh man,
jeez, I can't believe they actually put these two together. The right to censor versus Eugene.
All right, the right to censor just based on their theme song is enough to let them move on. That theme song is the worst. It's just that siren over and over and over again. It's not even a theme song. Eugene is perhaps
a savant. That's his whole character. I'm gonna try and put it as nicely as possible.
Yes.
So you want me to do this so I get canceled? You can carry on this after
I don't think it's us getting canceled because we didn't do this.
Yeah. So Eugene is a savant. The wrestler came up with this idea that he is a mentally handicapped individual,
right?
But he has this crazy, like I said, savant. So when he gets into the ring, he just automatically knows what to do. Like he's just a wrestler.
Yeah, and he loved wrestling so much that he would sort of copy wrestlers' moves.
Yeah,
if I remember right. And I think he was he Eric Bischoff's nephew. Supposed to be Eric Bischoff's nephew or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's even more wild about this is even after he was let go by the WWFE, whatever you want to call him, he kept this gimmick going.
Oh yeah.
In fact, he showed up in a certain $5 wrestling as this gimmick.
Good old Freight Train got him.
That's right. Freight Train, that's the real hero here. Honestly, I'm not even.
Freight Train
rules. I will forever support Freight Train.
He might be in my top 10. No,
I love that. And honestly, as a person, he's a sweetheart. The dude is awesome.
How can you not love Freight Train?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know what we're talking about? Check out Freight Train on YouTube.
Just look up Freight Train the promos on YouTube and have a great day.
That is true.
Okay. Man, one's way more offensive and the other one is just incredibly annoying. That's what we're going by here.
I think one is offensive and one is trying to make fun of something that's going on. Because Right to Censor was like in the height of the Attitude Era. You can't do all this crazy stuff. So networks and other organizations are like, "Hey, stop! You need to censor this stuff in a way."
And look where it got. And look where it got the WWE. Right? They just made like a ridiculous amount from Netflix. So, oh man,
God bless wrestling.
Yes.
God bless wrestling. I know some people will scoff at this episode and be like, "Oh, wrestling, it's fake, right?" But it is a beautiful art form that I think once you appreciate it, you appreciate it for the rest of your life. And
honestly,
what's going on with these guys,
I hate to tell everybody, 99% of the stuff you ever see on television or streaming is fake.
Yeah. As Chris Van Vliet said, you watch movies, don't you?
Exactly.
I feel Eugene is the worst gimmick.
I agree. I would much rather be a Right to Censor.
I mean,
be put in that group.
You get to wear nice clothing.
Yeah.
This one's gonna break your heart.
Oh no. I'll just so everybody knows I haven't seen Andrew's list.
Oh yeah. We have the American Badass Undertaker versus Das Wonderkin, Alex Wright.
All right. I'm not even going to lie here. I hate with an extreme passion rolling that Undertaker gimmick. Can't stand it. I know that that's way more like the actual person. And I understand him wanting to freshen up his character because he'd been a quote unquote dead man for a long time before he switched to this. But that Undertaker character is so iconic and just so cool for me that this was a spit in my face. And on top of that, getting Limp Bizkit of all bands.
Yeah, but didn't they call? Didn't he do Kid Rock there for a while too?
Oh, well, yeah, you're making it even better for me. Uh,
I forgot about Johnny being the music man.
yeah,
Like
you
when we
ball with
did
the ball before you bang the bang diddy.
him and Trevor when we did the Nostalgia Funhouse Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we're the
Hey
ones who brought
everybody,
those.
give us your nominees. Andrew, oh, I'm gonna go with Green Day's Dookie. Matt, oh, I think John Denver, Country Roads Take Me Home. Okay, that's good. Hey
Donnie,
Brian,
the Decemberist, the Decemberist, the band
yeah,
nobody's heard of.
and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna find the right album cover to make the graphic for this. So I forgot about the musical genius that is Johnny Townsend.
It's especially in my 20s, I was very much a music nerd, I would say. Like I was very in tune to it. I've really lightened up on that stuff. Like I used to really hate other people's music and be very mean about it. But I've got to the point now in my 40s where I'm like, just let people like what they
Have
like.
you
Who
heard the
cares?
Patton Oswalt bit about that?
I'm sure I have. I've listened to all his
Okay.
albums.
Yeah.
So I bet I
I
have.
like it when he talks about that when he's the musical snob in his 20s.
I like it when he talks about all the ham.
Oh,
That's my favorite. Trevor and I would quote that all the time. All right.
who
I really hate that American Badass. The Undertaker is such an iconic character to me. That
so
I
you would
hate
rather
that
be Das Wunderkind?
100,000,000%.
You'd rather be okay. For the record, I loved Alex Wright. I thought this was one of those like little quirky bad gimmicks that were so great. And when they turned him into, I believe it was Berlin,
Yes.
that was even worse. But
Yes.
I think a lot more people remember Alex Wright than they do Berlin.
Yeah. And I think didn't he and Disco Inferno have a program? I believe.
Yes, they were tag team champions.
Yeah. There we go.
So that's
At least something happened there. I'm very. What do you like the American Badass?
I liked it. I thought it was something new. I thought it was something a little bit fresher.
It was definitely newer.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit different because how long are you going to be dead for? There's a story that I heard.
Apparently for a long time.
There's a story that I heard about somebody, I think it was on 10 Bell Pod, that somebody got into trouble with The Undertaker and probably why they lost his job because he was complaining about Duke the Dumpster Drozy and stuff like that and all these occupational gimmicks. He's like, can you believe this garbage man and stuff like that and everything else? And somebody went up to Undertaker and was like, and how long have you been dead for? So once that hit my head, it kind of justified this gimmick a little bit more.
I just really hate it. Like I really truly hate it. Like when you're coming from such a supernatural and cool gimmick to that, it just is such a
but they killed him.
Very jarring for me. I do not like it at all.
And when did the Undertaker become dead? Like when he first debuted,
he always was.
Oh my goodness.
You
know what? Just pick after that one. Just pick after you gave me like this X-Files of he always was like Twilight Zone X-Files out of
He's Bruce Willis, man. He was dead the whole time. Only Haley Joel Osment could see him.
But it's so much cooler than coming out and being
it's so much more offensive to who the Undertaker was for me. Again, I admit that that's more like closely to the person.
I can't believe
like Mark
up on this one.
I also I do know that a lot of people disagree with me. They actually do love the American Badass Undertaker. I recognize that too. I just really, really hate it with a complete passion.
Do you want me to push it on for you? I will do that for you, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm probably I bet more people are aligned with you, though.
What a matchup we got here. So we're still in our first side of the bracket into what would be kind of round two here. We got Akeem, the African Dream, going up against Beaver Cleavage. I can't decide. I feel we're just gonna be wrong no matter which one we pick.
I don't think either one of these gimmicks is one that you would want to portray
No.
at all. I just really enjoy saying beaver cleavage quite a lot. My immature brain really enjoys that.
I think I would rather take the chance of being a white guy and saying, well, I've already done it, saying side or jive soul bro a million times than going out into public and being the guy that is quote unquote lusting after his mother for mother's milk.
Yeah, and his name's Beaver Cleavage.
We do. I wish I had a counter somewhere.
Yes. So I'm with you. Beaver Cleavage has got to move on.
Yes.
I mean, we don't know how deep that cleavage is.
So fake Diesel and fake Razor versus the fat chick Thriller, like awesome. I think it's fake Diesel and fake Razor.
I do too. I don't think either one of these are if you're a wrestler and you said, hey, this is going to happen to you, I would very much have a lot of pity for you, but I'm with you.
And I understand a lot of gimmicks too are reused, but they're actually kind of changed a little bit where you are just being what somebody else just was.
Yeah.
The Boogeyman versus the Toxic Turtles.
I feel like I saw this on a Saturday morning cartoon once.
I'm pretty sure. This cartoon right here.
Yeah. Man, I'm fine with either one of these. Moving on. They're both pretty truly awful.
I would say Toxic Turtles are worse.
I agree. Yeah.
I would say that's worse. I feel like you could get more longevity out of the Boogeyman than
Oh, and he did, in all fairness.
Eugene. Come on.
Eugene. It is Eugene. Yeah.
Okay. See now.
See, I could be realistic. All right, you already know my vote. It's
round 3. Here. Beaver Cleavage versus fake Diesel and fake Razor. Just say it, Johnny, because I know you want to say it.
It's gotta be Beaver Cleavage.
Eugene or the Toxic Turtles. I would much rather be a Toxic Turtle.
100%. Eugene's moving on here.
This right here.
This is kind of fun. It sort of is a reverse tournament in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Eugene is worse.
Oh my goodness.
You put turtles in there. You know that, right?
Where? Oh crap.
Fix it.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. All right. That's better.
There we go.
All right.
Jeez. Just somebody take me out. This is so bad. Oh my goodness.
Man, there's a lot of jokes that I cannot make, and I will not make.
It's Beaver Cleavage versus Eugene. I think I'd still.
Yeah, Andrew, which would you rather be?
You're gonna make me go first? Jeez. I know there's a gun behind that door, Andrew, but you know what? You go in first.
I'll go first. I'd much rather be Beaver Cleavage.
I would rather be Eugene.
What?
I would rather be Eugene than
At least in Beaver Cleavage, your mom is hot.
yeah. You're taking an iconic TV show, so wholesome, so nice. At least the Eugene character is like a savant. Like there's something behind there.
I will say, from my memory, and it's been forever, a lot of the times Eugene was a baby face. Like he was like people really liked him. It was very hard to hate that character.
You want to cheer for Eugene.
Yes. Though when he got to $5 wrestling, he was the bad guy. I will say. Because you can't Freight Train will always be the good guy, no matter what.
He is the Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
$5 wrestling. That man is
he's better than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. He's the ultimate baby face. He's like John Cena. He will never go heel.
That's right. I honestly, this is such a heavyweight fight here for this.
This is
I don't know how the other side's going to remotely come up to this, but I'm cool with either one of these. If you want to say beaver cleavage, that means I get to say beaver cleavage more, so I'm all for it.
beaver cleavage. Or I'll let you say it. Sorry.
Beaver cleavage.
All right. Thank God we're out of this one.
We'll be back. We'll be back for that cleavage.
So we are on the next.
What I got to say though, we're starting out with a great matchup here on this other side.
We have the Kiss Demon versus the Gobbledygooker.
All right. I think the Gobbledygooker is pretty infamous, but a lot of people don't realize the Kiss Demon. Okay. What happened is Kiss the band, they signed like his contract with the WCW, and they played live on one of the pay-per-views or one of the Raw or one of the Monday Nitros. I can't remember which, but they're also called for a character to be the Kiss Demon. And it was because of this contract that they were forced, no matter how this demon played out, he had to be given a main event in one of their pay-per-views. So it's a complete train wreck.
There was like 2 Kiss demons. It ended up being Dale Torbor, but the first guy was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, because why would you? That's a gimmick that's dead on arrival. You have to be a giant Kiss fan, and again, if you enjoy Kiss, have at it. I'm not going to be mad at you at all. Just not my cup of tea.
Versus the Gobbledygooker, though.
The Gobbledygooker to me is another one of those. Hey, we're going to set you up, and then just completely disappoint you, or as we say in the South, a fart in church, right?
But that was such a buildup, though. This is the same Survivor Series that the Undertaker, debuted in. So you have 2 debuts of probably the biggest, the most. I wouldn't say most, but like the most stable, iconic type guy in the Undertaker.
Yeah,
and then one of the worst disasters in the Gobbledygooker, played by Hector Guerrero. I would rather be the Kiss Demon.
Here's the thing, though. If you're the Gooker, nobody's going to know it's you.
Yeah, but nobody's going to really know it's you if you're the Kiss Demon.
They see way more of you for sure, though. I think it depends on how much of a fan of Kiss you are.
That is true.
And at least that Kiss Demon did get a main event.
Yeah, and the Gobbledygooker I feel, is made fun of way more than the Kiss Demon.
Oh, 100%. I think the Kiss Demon is sort of forgotten about. That's how bad that gimmick was. But the Gobbledygooker, they were hoping to set him up as being like a mascot for WWF, and it was so badly received they didn't even do that.
His biggest moment is him dancing with Mean Gene in the ring. So that's pretty much. If I'm looking at both of these careers, do I want to end up in the Psycho Circus or the Dark Carnival with Vampiro ICP with the Kiss Demon, or do I want to dance in the ring with Mean Gene? I want to dance in the ring with Mean Gene.
I also want to dance in the ring with Mean Gene.
So Kiss Demon, you move on. Are we in agreement on this one?
I agree, 100%. I think I'm going to be controversial to some.
I cannot wait. I know our good friend Gary T is going to say something. So our next matchup is Glacier versus the Red Rooster. Glacier was the idea of, I believe, Eric Bischoff.
Yes, Eric Bischoff was way into martial arts. In fact, he is a legit martial artist. I forgot what belt he'd made it to. Like, it's legit.
How did Jay Leno beat him, though?
That's a good question. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? The thing here, though, is also a certain video game by the name of Mortal Kombat was pretty dang huge. So they're like, hey, let's make a Sub-Zero type guy, and we'll get Glacier.
I have a feeling if Matt was like not 5 years old at this point, was watching wrestling all the time.
Yeah.
I think Glacier would have been one of his favorite wrestlers.
I'm just gonna be real here. I truly really enjoyed Glacier.
I did too. And then I enjoyed the guy. I really, really enjoyed the guy that he's going up against here in the Red Rooster, who is just essentially a rooster, and he bobbed his head back and forth. I was almost the red rooster for Halloween one year. I was going to spike my hair just like that. Just
I would have loved to have seen that.
unfortunately, I think I was a Ninja Turtle. So,
But these are pretty iconic when talking about bad gimmicks in wrestling. Both of these.
and it hurts me to say this. It hurts my inner child to say this, but I feel the Red Rooster needs to move on because Glacier wasn't that. It was, if Glacier was in, say, the earlier 90s instead of the mid 90s, I think that gimmick would have got over.
I think so
More
too.
than a guy being a rooster.
Yeah, I agree.
So, sorry, Terry Taylor.
Red Rooster moving on. Hey, the wrestler himself is not the problem.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Red Rooster. Well, actually, I heard he is a stooge.
Oh, I have no idea. I'm
Next,
just going by wrestling ability here.
next two is Max Moon versus PN News.
What? Wow, what a matchup here.
So Max Moon.
I like this is almost color coordinated, these two.
Yes, I'm looking at it, they very much are. Max Moon is a futuristic fighter that Conan portrayed for about 2 days, and then was like, "I'm not doing this anymore." This is what early mid 90s WWF type stuff.
Yeah, and you can tell they looked at stuff like X-Men and Power Rangers to make that suit.
And then
I'm surprised they didn't have like 100 pockets.
then you got PN News, which I was a big watcher of WCW Saturday Night.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have no memory of this guy until I started watching like old pay-per-view reviews on Wrestling with Regret.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I watch that channel a lot.
And I saw PN News and I was like, this is the worst rapping gimmick in the world.
He's no John Cena.
No, especially when they had the contest for him to read, like, to have him sing or rap some lines,
Yeah.
and it just fell out at the bottom. Like it just stopped rhyming. Like,
Yeah.
3 verses in.
But he's also, his other problem was his rhymes were all like, "Hey, my name is Johnny and I'm here to say." It was like that type of rhythm to it.
He's
Very anybody who raps like that is pretty square, as a
he's an L7 weenie. So Johnny,
yeah,
I think it comes down to it. Would you rather be a futuristic fighter for a wrestler, or would you rather be what looks to be a stereotypical early 90s rapper?
just physically, I resemble the rapper guy way more.
Me too.
But I would, if I got to choose, I would much rather be that futuristic Power Rangers type ripoff guy there.
I feel, oh my goodness, yeah, because I don't.
And also, I know I can't rap, so it's going to be just as bad as this guy.
I think that's what made the John Cena thing good. Is John Cena, the master lyricist, or
Well, the reason that he even got that gimmick is because Stephanie McMahon overheard him doing a rap.
But that's what I was saying. But he at least has a talent towards it.
That's what I'm. Yeah, I agree.
But I felt like this guy never had anything, and they were like,
right.
"Hey, we're just gonna feed you lines and you say it." So
because rap was becoming a big thing during this time, like, hey, we're gonna try to capitalize on that, and we did this instead. I think he moves on.
Yeah, PN News, you're moving on. All right, so I'm really disappointed I couldn't find a better picture of this because we got Mantar. I couldn't get a good one with him in his cow head or bull.
Well, it probably wouldn't fit.
Yeah. Oh,
speaking of not fitting, we don't even see the bottom of Val Venus here.
No. I
like how this picture cuts him off perfectly.
I always said Val Venus should be the new spokesman for HelloFresh. Instead of saying hello, ladies, he could be like hello, fresh.
Yeah.
But Mantar, who is he's a Mantar. I don't even know how to describe it. He's half cow, half man, but he can take off the
wrestler,
half cow part to get into the ring. Great 10 Bell Pod episode. If you please check that out. If you love wrestling.
Yeah, great, a fantastic podcast. I highly recommend them.
They take this guy that probably not a lot of people know about or just remember with this Mantar gimmick, and they doctor up that episode so well to the point where you're like, I can't get enough of this.
Yeah.
Versus Val Venus, who, how do I say this, was portrayed as an adult film star.
That's right. Very much. He would always be seen with a towel around his waist.
Yes. And he would come out and he would take off the towel, do a little kind of ravishing Rick Rude type dance, if you know who that.
Yeah. And in fact, one of the most major feuds he was in was all about getting his penis chopped off.
Yep. Your pee-pee.
Yeah.
Pee-pee, chop, pee-pee. Another, geez, Kai and Tai should have been on here too. Holy crap. I completely forgot about that. After a while there too, they were. What's funny is that they wanted to cut it off when there was a guy in Kai and Tai, if I'm not mistaken, named Dick Togo.
Yes. Yeah, but he was probably uncut. Listen.
Kind of like how I'm going to probably edit this podcast. All
right. Mantar is widely considered one of the worst gimmicks of all time. Like, if you go see any list of worst wrestling gimmicks, he's always near the top, if not the top. Val Venus, just in hindsight, now he got pretty over during his time.
Yeah,
but in hindsight, it's not good.
I still would say Mantar's worse.
But if you're going to say, hey, you can either be a quote unquote sex symbol or the living embodiment of a half cow coming to the ring.
With your head that's so big you can't even get into the ring with it on.
Which that could still technically be Val Venus, what you just said there. I think
so.
I think Mantar moves on.
Yeah. All right. So we have the Misfits in action.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot about them.
Versus Tugboat. So
all right. I already know who wins this easily.
Misfits in Action was a group of kind of like jobbers, just regular old enhancement talent, pretty much, other than when they had Booker T and he's changed his name to G.I. Bro.
Oh.
But if I'm not mistaken, in Misfits in Action, we had Chavo Guerrero Jr. as something. I gotta look this up now.
Yeah, look, it's Hugh Morris was Hugh G Rection. I do know that one off the top of my brain.
The girl was Major Guns.
Yes. One way to put it, the girl was Major Guns.
Well, okay. I'm sorry. So you had Hugh Morris was he was also Captain / General Hugh G Rection, Booker T G.I. Bro. You had Van Hammer as Private / Major Stash. Then you had Major Guns. Chavo Guerrero Jr. was Lieutenant Loco.
Oh, she was a major, Andrew. You should have put some respect on that.
I should have. The Wall, was Sergeant AWOL, and Lash LaRue was Corporal Cajun. Now, how many belts do you think they won, Johnny?
There's at least one.
3.
I would never guess that.
Okay.
I would have guessed 1, 2 tops.
So Lieutenant Loco got cruiserweight. Not a problem. Love Chavo. He's gonna make another appearance on this.
Oh, he most certainly will.
General Hugh G. Rection was a 2-time United States heavyweight champion, and Corporal Cajun and Lieutenant Loco were once tag team champions.
By the way, I used to be a fan of Hugh Morris because I thought he was really sweet seeing this giant guy do a really good moonsault off the top rope. It was really impressive. And another fun fact, he was Goldberg's first opponent.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. But Hugh Erection is always a very funny thing to me. And Tugboat,
I love Tugboat.
I love Tugboat, unironically.
When he became Typhoon,
Yes.
it broke my heart. I think this was one of my first like wrestling, like break my heart. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah. So Tugboat has a special place in my kid's soul.
He's gonna make another appearance on this list. We love you, Fred. We love you, Fred.
Yes. And by everything I've heard, like outside of the ring, the dude's also a sweetheart. So I think by far I would much rather be Tugboat in this. So,
yeah, because
you say, hey, do you want to be Tugboat or Hugh Erection?
I like the
They're in in defense, if I was Hugh Erection, I would probably need to give myself a Tugboat.
I'm just gonna give you like a recorder. We just get like an hour long like audio or something of Johnny just saying huge erection and beaver cleavage just over and over. But
this is a great day for me.
So Misfits in action, you were terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my god, here we go.
Oh, he shows up again right away.
Yep. Yeah. Here we got the Mexicools and Kerwin White.
I had forgotten all about the Mexicools, but seeing those lawnmowers definitely brought back that memory.
As they come to the ring on lawnmowers. Who was it? Like Super Crazy, Hoovitude.
Yeah. Very much giving in the stereotypes, both of these.
Yes. And then what's funny is you got Chavo Guerrero playing Kerwin White, who's a white guy. Also, damn it, I couldn't even find it. We could have got Dolph Ziggler back on the list because he played his caddy.
That's right. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Kerwin White, originally Chavo Guerrero, who is, just so you know, not a white guy.
Yeah.
But that's the point of the character, is he kind of denounces and decides that being white is what's the greatest thing.
Didn't he have the saying, if it's not white, it's not right?
I'm pretty certain. Yeah. It's true. It's truly awful. If I would not want either one of these because they're both incredibly offensive in different ways. Kerwin is way more offensive, I feel, and if you told me, hey, you're going to be this, but you get to ride a lawnmower to the ring, I'd be like, well, at least I get to ride a lawnmower to the ring.
Yeah, but they wore in one of them. They wore like Gardner jumpsuits.
Neither one of them are great, man.
This is hard. I think this is 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other.
I remember seeing Kerwin White show up for the first time and thinking, and this is even in like, I'm in like, I can't remember when this was, early 2000s, right? Is that right? When he does this, I think it's just after Attitude Era. And I'm thinking, this is so god awful. Why would you want to do this? I think no good could come of this.
Yeah, that was his catchphrase. If it's not white, it's not right.
And this is in my early 20s when I thought being funny was saying offensive things, and I was offended every time his character was on the screen.
At least I think called cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think Kerwin moves on here. And what's even worse is Chavo is such a really good wrestler.
What makes me upset about the Mexicools is that it was because it was Super Crazy, Psychosis, and Hoovy. And those are
man, all four of these guys are crazy good.
And then you give them this crap thing, but then you take Chavo, who is good in his own right, definitely one of the greatest wrestling families ever in the Guerrero.
Oh yeah.
And you give him that, but yeah, I would have to say, you sounds so bad. At least you get along more. Kerwin White moves on. I think this is the push. That was a push one.
Oh no! Oh no!
We got good old Fred is coming back with the Shockmaster versus another Glenn Jacobs. Thank God they gave him Kane.
Yes.
As Jerry Lawler's personal dentist, Dr. Isaac Yankum.
Who obviously had bad teeth. They made sure to point that out.
Yeah, why? Why would Jerry Lawler go there if he had bad teeth?
Jerry Lawler needs to make better decisions. Very obvious from that.
Yeah.
These are two notorious for me both of these gimmicks are so bad that they're good.
I think what makes the Shockmaster situation is a lot worse, and I think that's what hurt the gimmick.
Yes, because they set this character up to be a big deal, and this is on live television. If you have not seen this, you can find it all over the internet. It is worth the watch. He bursts out. He's been introduced by the likes of Sting, Ric Flair. These big names are there, and he comes out and he trips immediately. Falls to the ground. His helmet comes off, which I present to you. Even if he had gotten through that wall just fine, he's still wearing a sparkly Stormtrooper helmet.
And Ole Anderson did his voice.
Yeah. This character was a no-win. This character was never going to win. But I present to you this also, Andrew. A couple of years back, I can't remember who does the WWE toys. I don't remember who does them. Is it Mattel?
It's Mattel now.
They were releasing a special Shockmaster figure, and I really tried to get it, but it became way too expensive. I wanted it badly because I just love this, just the idea of this character and how.
I think there was potential there.
Well, I mean, there was. They turned him into the super. What he became something after the Super Shockmaster or something like that.
Yeah, or something.
But that was nowhere near as good or fun.
He came out with a hard hat later on.
Yeah, they really played on the fact that he tripped and fell.
Yeah,
which I don't know what else you're going to do. You can't.
I still like the Shockmaster better than Dr. Isaac Yankem.
I unironically think the Shockmaster is one of my all-time favorite moments in pro wrestling.
I think it was just a miss.
To the point where I consider it a myth. Like it's this legendary thing that happened in pro wrestling. Is this like you can go back, you can watch that video 5 times and each time pick out a little something different.
I think probably in the top maybe 5-10 things that whenever you talk about pro wrestling and certain moments, good or bad, you're always going to get the Montreal Screwjob. You're always going to get WrestleMania 3, and you're always going to get the Shockmaster.
And I would throw in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Those are all the things. And then probably like a TLC match.
Yeah.
And then
you're going to get Metcalf thrown off the cage, Jeff Hardy getting speared from a ladder. You're going to get the other two that you mentioned and Shockmaster. That can kind of like we just gave you the history of pro wrestling since the 80s right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love the Shockmaster a lot.
I
think it's a testament to how lucky Kane was that they actually gave him the gimmick of Kane, that he overcame being a dentist who I guess also loves to wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, who do you think's moving on here? Kane's got some bad. Glenn Jacobs, come on. He was the Christmas creature in like Memphis.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a horrible one. There's so many hard videos or pictures to find of that one. I was going to put the Christmas creature up there, but I think Isaac Yankem should go on.
I agree. I just love the Shockmaster too much to.
I think it's just too much centered around that one moment.
And I also kind of think the Shockmaster has sort of become a beloved thing now.
Yeah. So our next matchup, we have the Yeti from that doesn't look like a Yeti.
I know it looks like a mummy, but it's a Yeti.
From WCW, and then Briar Ferguson, who was a monk that didn't talk.
That's a good gimmick for a lot of people now.
Yeah.
Who are not good at talking. Let's not forget though, the Yeti not only debuted awesomely, but helped for some reason do a double choke hug.
I don't even know what gyration.
He really reminds me. If you go back and watch it, Hulk Hogan's already in the ring. Who's he getting hugged by? Who's he getting bear hugged by? I forget who the other wrestler was.
Isn't it?
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, the Giant. And then the Yeti
watch-alongs.
The Yeti shows up and goes into the other side. So Hogan's getting bear hugged from the front and the back.
We got to try and do a watch-along for like a match.
I agree. Oh, man.
I don't know where we could post them, but just post them somewhere. But we got to do a watch-along.
And by the way, just so everybody knows, a Yeti is basically like a snowy version of the Bigfoot. Yeah. And this is in no Way a Yeti. This is most certainly a mummy.
And thinking about it, I think I'd rather be Friar Ferguson than the Yeti.
Yeah. You'll never mess up any of your lines.
That is true. I think they gave him a notepad.
Yeah, and the Yeti, I would be really concerned since he's a mummy when he gets in, if he makes it to the finals here.
Okay, we're gonna go. we're gonna go on to round 2 here.
That mummy could be a real MILF.
Jeez.
Just a mummy I like to be a friend with.
To all the listeners out there, I tried.
I mean, of course, a mummy I'd like to friend.
I was trying
I'm joking on it. I'm choking on my own lines.
To write the censor treatment over here, and it's not working. So, Kiss Demon versus Red Rooster. Jeez.
I don't know. Both of these are pretty bad.
Would you rather be a demon from a band probably at this point that most people didn't really know about? Wasn't
a
like,
band in the streets, but a demon in the sheets.
I would say Red Rooster still, even though it hurts me.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, at least the Kiss Demon looks kind of cool. I said kind of there. TN News versus Mantar.
Mantar goes on.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Misfits in Action versus Kerwin White. So funny puns versus
Chavo's taking on himself here.
Yeah. Lieutenant Loco versus Kerwin White. I would much rather be Lieutenant Loco.
100%. 100%.
The Yeti over
yes,
Isaac Yankem.
Yep. The MILF moves on.
Oh my goodness. Mantar versus Red Rooster.
I think it's Mantar. I do. If I had to choose between being a cow or a rooster, I'd much rather be a big cock.
All right. Oh geez.
Oh man.
It's the catchphrase that gets me with Kerwin.
Yeah, I really hate it.
I gotta go because I would be like, like we got 2 choices for you. You can be the Yeti that looks like a mummy, or I say Yeti because the one guy on I think he's on Callaholics right now. I just loved it how he said Yeti.
Well, he kind of, if you go back and listen to it, Tony Schiavone sort of says his name that way.
Oh, okay. Or you can be a stereotypical upper middle class white guy and go around saying if it's not white, it's not right. I'm gonna be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take the weird mummy character.
Yeah.
Just no.
I agree.
After I said weird mummy character, no. David, no. Mantar versus Kerwin White.
That's a bad Johnny. Man, all right. This is a kind of a toss up between just a really bad gimmick and an incredibly offensive gimmick.
Thank God Chop is such a great wrestler that he overcame.
Yeah. Agreed.
Geez.
I do think that the Mantar is way more iconic.
Yeah.
When it comes to bad gimmicks.
I think Kerwin White, you just want to forget about.
Yeah, I really detest that one quite a bit.
So Kerwin White moves on.
I guess so.
This is such a bad final. Oh my goodness.
And we could add the mummy here, or the Yeti here, just so you know.
Now for our final, for what we're saying is the worst wrestling gimmick out of these 32 that made it this far is, say it, Johnny.
Oh, Kerwin White.
No, you didn't get to say who is facing.
Oh, sorry.
I gave you this chance.
You got to leave it to Beaver Cleavage.
Oh, over Kerwin White. I think
I'm going to present this to you.
Okay.
I detest that Kerwin White Gimmicks so much and am personally offended by it so much that even though this is technically a tournament to crown the worst and he should be at, that I don't think it deserves that. And Beaver Cleavage is just way more fun to say. So I'm going to say Beaver Cleavage wins this whole thing because I would be proud, Andrew, proud to say that the Nostalgia Funhouse and the Retroactive Sports Podcast, two podcasts that are synonymous with my and your names, I'd be proud to have the stamp of approval of
Beaver
Cleavage.
So you're saying Beaver Cleavage is where
I'm putting my vote in for Beaver Cleavage.
I kind of got to go with you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because I feel Chavo, and this is not in the aspect of anything crazy, but I feel like this is one of the last things when you think of Chavo you think about. But whenever I see Chaz, I think Headbangers, because he was Mosh, right?
Yeah.
I think Headbangers and Beaver Cleavage.
Yes.
And then when I think of Beaver Cleavage, I think of some of the worst vignettes and everything else.
Yep. But a hot mom.
So Beaver Cleavage, you are the champion there.
Yeah,
You are the worst gimmick for the
congratulations.
I guess. I know we'll never get Chaz if we ever want to do an interview with him or anything, if we have that opportunity.
What are you talking about? This is a huge honor. If anything, this is going to make him reach out to us and be like, hey, let me on the show, fellas.
True.
Should we do later on, obviously not soon, but in the future, gimmicks we actually liked, or because I had another idea that I know we're on air here, but what if we did like worst wrestling finishing moves?
Oh, I'd love to do that. I love to do tag teams as well. There's a lot of stuff we could do.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun.
I want to do terrible jerseys, like good jerseys too.
Oh yeah. New Jersey.
All right. So
you said terrible jersey, so I just had to take the shot.
So this is like we said, combined effort between our two podcasts, kind of sharing the bill here. You can catch both of them on the Beat ICBP Radio Network, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Check out both YouTube channels for the Nostalgia Funhouse and the Retroactive Sports Podcast, and check out the Facebook page for both. And you got anything, Johnny?
Yeah, remember, if you're having a difficult and hard day, you can always just leave it to Beaver Cleavage.
That being said, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.